When music moves, it shakes the world. From passion to action. Catch conversations and inspiration as we get to know emerging artists at the Ohio University's Music Industry Summit.
We are the university that finds the way to do the most unique things and the coolest things.
This is the Launchpad Podcast. Hey there, welcome again to the Launchpad Podcast. This is where we highlight the next best now. We're coming to you out of Ohio University for the annual Ohio Music Industry Summit. It's a great place to connect with so many artists. And for our conversation today, I am so excited to speak with this dude. He comes off to me as someone who has a great head on his shoulders, very creative, and I love the influences that he brings. Eclectic in the sound, but has influences of jazz. The way they see the world are what they write and what they spit.
Love these days, having doubts inside myself. Rise above these days, I'm in tune with the earth and the trees these days. Cloud on respect and the cheese these days.
So, without further ado, let's introduce him to the Launchpad Podcast family. J Tolb, what's good?
Man, beautiful introduction. Wow, thank you. I'm happy to be here, happy to be a part of this. And like you said, shout out to the Ohio University Music Industry Summit. It's been a great time. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Nah, man, same. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. I just want you to share with the Launchpad family a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you grow up?
Yeah.
What's your origin story?
Definitely. So a little bit about me. I go by the name J Tolb. It's just short for my full government name, Jalen Tolbert. I am the second oldest of 7 kids, parents still together, love them, love to see the love that they have for each other, and they've poured it into me. And so I'm passionate about the things that I'm talking about. I'm passionate about pretty much everything, because why not? My dad was in the Air Force. He served 20 years, retired now, moved around a little bit, but found a home in Ohio. I'm from Dayton. I lived there for the past 12 years. I'm out here in Athens going to school right now, studying communications, political science, and African American studies. But I'm dabbling with my creative endeavors. I've been able to act in a couple of short films. I get to make a couple of albums and share my thoughts and feelings about the world. So hopefully people out there care enough to listen to what I have to say, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I love how you've mentioned all those things in terms of how you grew up, where you come from. How have those things influenced you as an artist? Maybe in terms of like your style, your genre choices. Do any of the things you've mentioned, like your background, influence your decisions in terms of hip hop? I want to do hip hop, or I want to do hip hop this way, or anything like that.
Definitely, I would say that I love like jazz rap, and I don't know if too many people are like accustomed to that, like in like the mainstream conversations. But people like Mick Jenkins, Isaiah Rashad, Mike, Earl Sweatshirt was here, real trailblazers in this sort of like eclectic and alternative art form when it comes to rap. And that's something that I try to pride myself on. I think that it's important to be authentic. We talked about that a little bit before the camera started rolling. And I'm somebody I wouldn't say that I'm the most emotionally intelligent person in the world, but I do have a lot of feelings. I feel a lot. And because of that, I've kind of been able to manifest that into the music. And I can reflect that in the conversations that I'm having, and also, like I said, the bars that I'm writing. And I think that that's what kind of makes me unique. And hopefully that's something that people can gravitate to and kind of resonate with that sense of authenticity and, feel at home listening to my music, you know?
I love that. So when we look at like the stuff that you're studying in school, you mentioned like Pol Sci, you mentioned as well.
Communication studies and African American studies.
When you look at those things, because sometimes like the folks would be like, oh, you have to do this and this and this. What do you mean you want to rap? What do you mean you want to do music? Has that ever been the story with you?
Yeah. So even right now, it's happening all the time. I'm a junior, and I'm going to get ready to graduate a semester early. So I'm really excited about that and going forth into the real world, right? As I've been told many a times, it's like, well, do you still want to make music? Is this really like what you want to do? And I don't think that it has to even be something that I have to make a decision on yet, that because my music is so intrinsically me. I think that if you don't want me to be a part of your organization or your company because of the things that I'm saying on wax, I probably don't want to be in there working anyways.
Yeah.
And so being able to do that while studying the things that I'm studying and use rap music as a creative outlet, I feel like it's done wonders for me. And I think that most people need to have like that sort of creative outlet, right? Because most of the time we have people studying in these areas that, you know, that we have highly regarded and very respected. But you aren't finding time for yourself to reflect, sit down and think about the things that you're experiencing, processing, maybe the trauma that you're carrying around, and then you aren't your truest self, you know?
Yeah.
Being able to reflect on those things, and honestly for me to be vulnerable and express them with other people and try to connect in that way goes a long way for me. So even if I'm doing a performance where there's only 10 people there, if I can connect with those 10 people, that means more to me than showing up for an 8-hour shift and just chilling.
I love that a lot, and just thinking about that, like, so many people kind of find themselves in like that crossroads, you know, because like your art is such a deep part of who you are.
Yeah.
For some people, they just think, you know, your art is just, you know, something you do, but it crosses that and becomes a real part of how you distill the world and your experiences and other people's experiences as well. What are some of the experiences that you have captured from other people's music that you can say kind of helped you in your life?
Yeah.
You know, either songs or poems or hip hop or jazz, something you listen to and you're like, man, that spoke to me.
Yeah. Gil Scott-Heron's Winter in America. Of course, also Gil Scott-Heron, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, one of the pioneers of rap music, because he was doing the spoken word stuff over like the jazzy instrumentals, and he has a live album that I really enjoy, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. But hearing somebody provide such potent social commentary through music as the medium of addressing and sending this message really resonated with me. Then of course you have Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, the greatest album of all time, if you let me tell it. And so the jazz influence on there, Terrace Martin on the production, and same with Thundercat, like the bass all over that. I love the electric bass. I need to learn how to play.
Okay.
But it's all
We're going
right.
to put you accountable. You said it.
Yeah,
you know,
now it's out in the world, and other people can hold me accountable to it. But it's stuff like that, like the message. We've talked about it a little bit already, but Kendrick being as big as he is, in not being afraid to talk about things that people haven't even really talked about. So in 2016, on To Pimp a Butterfly, talking about capitalism and racism, and the album cover being in front of the White House, and you got all these people outside screaming, chanting. And that was in 2016, before, you know,
the elections and stuff.
Before the elections,
Yeah.
and you know, I won't get too crazy on here. But that was before 2020. And then you got him coming back with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, talking about generational trauma and going to therapy on a mainstream rap album. It's pretty crazy. And it's like pushing those boundaries, and that's something that I think that I definitely want to do, not necessarily on the grandest scale, but I want to be able to do that in my art as well.
I love that. And it's a great segue into a section that I call the fantastic artist. Right? It's kind of like a play on the word fan. So it's like, I want you to create a superhero artist, right? And these are people who you're a fan of. So if you could take one thing from one artist, combine it with another thing from another artist, and create like this superhero, which artist would you pick, and what would you pick about them that would make them that superhero?
That is a great question. So I would say that I would take Mick Jenkins' lyricism. He dropped an album last year titled The Patience. Really enjoyed it. It's incredible. And he's one of the sharpest lyricists in the game. So definitely Mick Jenkins' pen. I would take Mike's voice. He runs with Earl. He just dropped a collab album with Tony Seltzer. I love. And there's a song with Earl on it called On God. It's really fire. Mike's voice, big dude. And it's just like his voice is just bassy. So those two, I would say. Also, the way that into this artist, I would add how the humility of J. Cole. We were talking about J. Cole off camera.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But being down to earth in actually like interacting with your fans, right? We talked about J. Cole's apology, like I said, off camera a little bit.
Love it, yeah.
And me too. Being able to be on stage of your own music festival that you hosted and to be vulnerable enough to talk to your fans as if you're just having a conversation, right? Definitely there. Those are three things. What's one more that I would add to make the fantastic artist? Probably Isaiah Rashad's flow. So he just finds pockets that I feel like are just so impressive because it's just so laid back. It feels so effortless, but you can tell that it's like intentional. So definitely.
Sweet. So we've talked about your influences. We've talked about like the fantastic artists you created. What are you working on right now, or what have you dropped recently that you'd love the Launchpad to be like, go check that out?
Okay. So I dropped 2 projects last year, and they were my first full-length projects. They're on everything: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all that good stuff. The first one was titled Poems Over Instrumentals, and it was like that was the first one that was in March of last year, so it's been a full year now. And I was just writing. That was what it was all about. I pulled some beats off of YouTube, I leased them, and I was like, this is my story that I need to share with the world. 8 tracks, about I think 16-minute runtime. And so Poems Over Instrumentals everywhere.
Nice.
And then last summer I dropped the Tough Talk tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some brand new music from J Tolb. I have not heard much about him, but he's calling in so we can hear from him. Young man, are
And
you
that
there?
was more upbeat. It was the summertime. I wanted stuff that bumps in the car that you can ride around to and enjoy. So those 2 last year. This year though, gearing up to drop 3 projects. I dropped 2 last year.
You're busy, man.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I'm gonna definitely try to up the score for sure. I have a solo project titled The Passionate EP. I'm really excited about it. The artwork is a cell phone that has the word passionate written on it, because it's the 10 letters for the 10 numbers that are on the phone. I think it's really important to connect. I don't even really like saying that I have fans right now. I'm a small artist. I just want to be able to connect with people and send messages out there that, you know, people can resonate with. And so that's why I think the phone cover was very important to have on there. I'm passionate about all the things that I'm talking about. I'm passionate about having these conversations in this way. So I want the music to reflect that. And then I have 2 collab projects that I'm working on with a amazing dude. He was on here. Shout out to my boy Kano.
Kano's dope.
Yep. Really dope dude. That's called Soul Food. Every track flips a soul sample. It's really inspired by jazz, soul music, and just music in general. Want to have that feel that gets people moving and engaged with music as an art form in that way. Being, you know what I'm saying, a rapper, because sometimes it can be a little bit of a bad word to some people, you know? So Soul Food on the way, and then got a project with my big brother, Trevon, and my close collaborator and good friend, lifelong homie, Owen Phillip. So 2 collab projects on the way, solo one as well. Maybe a couple more shows. Not maybe, definitely a couple of shows. So I'm excited.
Love that. So before we let you go, there's something that we do as well that's called Picture Perfect. So it's like just a chance to tell the Launchpad family like why you want them to be a part of your journey. You know, and it's just like representing yourself as best as you could.
Definitely.
And just sharing that with them and telling them, yo, this is why I would love for you to join me on my journey. So you can leave them with something.
All right. So Launchpad family, I'm talking to you directly, right? Anybody that's listening to this podcast, I want to pitch myself as somebody who prioritizes authenticity all the time, who takes this very seriously, is intentional about the messages that I'm sending and the things that I'm saying. And of course, the music slaps too, so that always helps. So definitely would love for you to check my stuff out. If you don't enjoy it, it's not your cup of tea, I completely understand. I know that everybody has their own thing, but I want to be somebody that people can look to and just be inspired by, and then hopefully hear my stuff and inspire others. So that's why you should check it out and hang out with me.
I love that. Where can they find you on your socials to connect with you?
Yeah, so J Tolb on everything. On Instagram, it's J.Tolb. On Apple Music, Spotify, every other streaming service, it's J-Tolb. Yeah, like 2 projects out right now, couple more on the way, so I'm really excited.
I love that. It's been great connecting with you.
Yes, sir.
And I wish you all the best and all good things.
Thank you.
You know, and as always, with the Launchpad podcast, we bring you the next best now. So remember, check the links, check the about when it comes to the podcast, and find all the information about all of the artists that you connect with. As always, Launchpad family, until the next time. Thanks for watching or listening to the Launchpad podcast. Click the links in the About page to get to know more about our artists, follow their journeys, and also find out what comes next in their story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you at the next launch.